once again to another episode of the Fight Factory podcast right here, brought to you by MyFandom, of course. Go download the brand new app that just relaunched with all the fun sports goodies that you can fucking handle. Dave Sturchio, Tommy Dee over here. We hope everybody's doing well out there as we are now 33 days away from this thing right here, this thing. The War on the Shore going down at Tiki Bar in Point Pleasant on July the 16th. Got some pictures today of the women's championship in development.
Yes.
Looks awesome. Shout out to Straps and Straps. Yep, Straps and Belts. Straps and I'm fucking that up. That's
straps,
okay. Belts and Straps, sure. But they're great. And they've taken our design. Very cool. We're still awaiting the.
It's funny. I've always wondered how it was done and how long it really takes. And thank you guys for the fucking rush job that you're doing on this.
I mean, it's not a rush job at this point. I mean, now it's a month away. Sometimes these things take like 6 weeks and stuff like that. So now, I mean, look, Mark Carino, who's done all of our graphic work leading up to this.
He's amazing.
He helped us out with this. We had the guy from our friend LeJohn was doing from MyFandom. He was doing it for a little while, and then he had to get pulled in a million different directions. So we're like, Mark, listen, you've designed everything else under the sun for us, literally. And, so we were like, screw it. Can you design the belt? Payne is a pain when it comes to,
Yeah, he's running from the grind.
He really is, dude. I cannot believe that myself and Tommy Dee, Shay's not even here today, but Shay had a concert or something like that. So, like, she's living her life. She's a young girl. She's having
also
fun.
working for MyFandom. Chris literally was just in paradise with his
One
family.
happy island.
Yeah, for a week with them in each other's face, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. He can't even take the time to come here and do the show.
Unbelievable. I mean, like, where's the dedication? And I texted you guys. I just hope he shows up at the War on the Shore. You know, because at this point, I'm giving him the 75-25 shot.
I hope he doesn't, because I'll be on the second rope with both belts on my shoulders.
It's going to be a great time.
Without pain.
Yeah. Listen, and that's the thing. I needed information from Payne today because we picked up yet another sponsor, Luchadors. Or I'm assuming this is in New York.
It's in New York, yeah.
Okay, so this is where he gets all his food, his Spanish rice and whatever else he eats up there in New York. But they came on as a sponsor. I know they can't provide any of the food at Tiki Bar, but again, great to have some more local sponsors, local mom and pop shops.
How would you not want to be
board.
a sponsor of a wrestling show with the name Luchadors?
Seriously. It's a match made in heaven. So anyway, also shout out to Absolute Eyewear getting involved each and every week. Craig and Janine down in Woodbridge, New Jersey. Go check those guys out. Right next to the train station, as you probably have heard once or twice. Santiago Sports, my boy Santiago down the street in Matawan on 34. He's got all sorts of collectibles. If you're into the hobby, collecting cards or memorabilia, and he's got a fucking, I'm going to say a plethora. I like that word. Plethora.
A plethora.
A plethora of...
Jefe, do you know what a plethora is?
No, what is that from?
Oh, Three Amigos.
It's been a long time since I've seen that. I'm still on The Sopranos. I was like, what am I watching?
You see, now you didn't understand the dance that I had done that one time when I was sitting at the desk.
Probably
there.
not.
You didn't know what it was from.
And now I know. So I'm still catching up on The Sopranos. And of course, our boys over at Super Burt Tequila, the official alcohol for this.
I'm getting thirsty just thinking about it.
Yeah, I am. I think I might have a swig when I get home of some of their product. So I might do that.
I think I might actually stay in Point Pleasant at the house that Vargas is renting, to be honest with you.
Vargas is renting a house?
He's doing a
Wait, this is breaking
Airbnb.
news. Is he really?
That's what he was saying, yeah. Him and a couple of the other guys. They're going down there with, yeah.
I think we might have an after party spot after all. And it's not even on our dime, which is even greater. Like, I'm not paying for that
technically it is,
shit.
since we're paying those guys.
Yeah, I mean, well, if they're using their money and their profits to get an Airbnb down the shore, God bless. Rock on. RMJ.
He told me that weekend that he has is pretty crazy. He's got Cap the day before. Then he's driving
Cap on
down
a Monday?
That's what he said. He got Cap that weekend.
I guarantee it's on a Sunday.
He's like...
They run Sunday shows a lot.
He was like, when he was telling me his schedule, I'm like, God damn.
Yeah, well, look, they're busy boys over there. RMJ Environomics. What do they do, Tommy? I always refer to you as it's like your wheelhouse.
So they test your soil, if you have an oil tank and things like that, to make sure that your house is safe Because when you remove an oil tank, you got to test the soil to make sure the soil's not
People still have
contaminated.
oil tanks?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oil tanks,
I feel like
underground propane tanks.
Yeah.
So they test the soil to make sure that the soil is safe for you to live.
And that's why you need RMJ. So go check out RMJ for all your, especially if you're buying a new house or something like that. You got to make sure all these things are checked. Make sure your
Well, they're
house
the company that goes out there and does the checking for you when you're selling your house.
Oh, when you're selling her. Oh, okay, cool. Well, either way. And then our boy Surge over at Mutts and Pups. Go check those guys. And I only bring them up, obviously, because they're a sponsor of the show. But I want to also say that it's summertime, and a lot of you people go down the shore, and you don't know what to do with your dogs, right?
Whoa. What do you mean, you people?
You people. You go down the shore. You live down the shore. You'd go down the shore, or you go on vacation for a weekend, and you need somebody to watch your dogs. Hit up our boy Surge at Mutts and Pups. And
great
of course,
service, man.
We definitely we already talked about Luchador's restaurant. There was something else I wanted to say, and I'm drawing a blank. That's what happens when you've been hitting the head way too much. Actually, I rewatched my last match a couple days ago. I don't know why I do that to myself. But, like, you know what I'm more pissed off about? Sam Roberts on commentary throughout it. Like, he's just completely dog shitting me. Like, he is dogging me.
Well, you're the heel.
I was not the heel going into that last match.
Oh, I thought you were the heel.
Fuck no. That was the psychopath Christopher Avery Cooling. He was the psych ward guy. I was the guy that was supposed to Apollo Creed that motherfucker. And I wound up being Apollo Creed. And wound up completely dying. So I watched that one. I also watched my match with Hacksaw.
Hey, listen,
It's
man.
still fun to me.
I know I've
Still real to me.
I've only done 2 events, but I still go back.
How was Madawan? Not Madawan Day. Try again. Total Day.
I got to tell you something.
Tommy Fierro, ISPW. Shout out to you guys.
You talk about a guy who knows how to maximize a free show.
The right way. Not next to a Porta-John. No. Or a parking lot.
The people of Toto were absolutely amazing.
It was at the same place we had our debut, right? Okay.
Literally the parking lot and then the football field right behind it.
Oh, nice.
So the whole thing was amazing. Yusufer and I were going throughout the crowd, and like I was telling you, he was Hulk Hogan-esque babyface. Kids were following him around, taking pictures with him. He's dancing with the ladies, singing on the stage. He went in the kissing booth.
Maybe it's time for a new gimmick.
He went in the kissing booth. Everybody was loving. They were giving him free
The
beer.
Heartbreak Barbarian.
They were. Oh, dude, you would have loved it when they post the video. I was actually like the circus announcer. Step right up.
What's the bearded lady here?
We just walked right into the booth. The people loved it. They actually somebody did an interview with us. Obviously, I had to do all the talking. They were giving him
camera.
They were giving him free beer out of his beer thing.
There was drinks there?
There was beer there.
I feel like I missed out on a very big party.
No, listen, it was honestly, Totoa, you guys did a really great job. A lot of the people that didn't know that there was a wrestling match going on, when they saw him walking around and they were talking to us, they actually came over to watch the wrestling matches.
And that's exactly what Big Trouble Ben Bishop is going to do. He's going to walk up and down the Point Pleasant Boardwalk and tell you, hey, did you know there's a wrestling event happening at 7 o'clock at night? Come on by, So shout out to those guys as well, continuing to drop the goods on the Instagram. The one I really got excited about, I forget. He posts so many videos that it's just like it's starting to blend together.
I just love messing with him now. Like I have to. I've got to. I got to put my own stamp on things.
Look, I like those guys. They're very funny people. And this is a straight pew pew shot at the people that aren't promoting the event yet. Which again, if you think you're above the event, then you don't also have to be on the event. Well, but I have to say, Ben Bishop, Nikki the Good, they've consistently stayed on our ass. It's like a bad hemorrhoid, and it's like, but it's a good hemorrhoid. If there's good hemorrhoids out there,
I may or may not have brought that up to some of the people in the locker room that was out there at Totowa Day. I'm like, we got these 2 guys that we just brought on to the show, and they've been promoting it since before they were even brought on. They
were basically begging for a spot, and they got it. Yeah. So there you go. I mean, that's how it kind of works. The more and more I look up and down the roster and the card, which has been fully announced. It's all over Instagram and stuff like that. I don't know, man. It's just, I understand that people are busy, but there's a specific thing in pro wrestling where you are the brand. You are the representation. You're only booked because we believe that you can bring value to the brand. And whether that means ticket sales or a great match or both, it's great. But you have to build your brand. I understand it's independent wrestling. But all it takes is one person to see something, and bam, you're signed. Just like that. And no matter what, whether it be WWE, AEW, TNA, whatever, you could be picked up so fast. And I can't stress it enough that, I want to cut promos, but I also, I'm at that point where I just don't know if do I want to be an on-screen thing yet? I think we're going to, by default, do that.
I want to, but I don't.
You don't want to take away from the show and all that sort of shit.
I don't want to take away from the show. That's first and foremost. And second, my guy's not booked, so what's the point?
Anywho.
But yeah, no, listen.
Get another guy.
Was amazing. Yeah. Toto Day was amazing. Tommy Fierro did an excellent job. The crowd was amazing. And honestly, all those wrestlers, they brought it. Ace of Space Academy was excellent. They wrestled the Kelly.
They had a hell of a weekend starting on Thursday.
Yeah.
I know Shotgun Thursday night, they had a great match over at WrestlePro against the Rap Bastards. So that was like
friends of the show.
Yeah, friends of the show who were actually, after they left, they never came back.
Nope.
See, mission accomplished. I think I did everybody a service there by not welcoming those bums back.
But yeah, Tommy, that was an excellent job, especially everybody at Toto Day, all the wrestlers.
And shout out to Tommy. Like, obviously, he gave us our first, showcase stuff in Toto a couple months back. Is that nuts? But also, he's been helping us out. He hooked us up with Diane, who's been crushing it with the sponsors and stuff. She's our official salesperson. I do want to make another brief sort of kind of fun announcement that we have a Fight Factory consigliere, and that is one Gino Gotts. We've hired him and brought him on staff to pretty much make sure nothing goes wrong. If you need anything, Gino Gotts. But yeah, so Gino's he's been a friend of mine for a long time. He was interviewing me from, what was it called? Pro Wrestling Powerhouse, PWP.
He was on commentary for Ring of Honor. He's
what?
Yeah, back in the day.
Gino Gotts?
Mm-hmm.
Ring of Honor.
Mm-hmm.
You might have the wrong guy.
No, we were talking about it at the last WrestlePro show.
Ring of Honor. In their heyday, Ring of Honor?
I don't know if it was their hit. Maybe I did it at the beginning days.
Or did he call a match with a Ring of Honor guy in it?
No, he said it was Ring of Honor.
I don't buy that.
Listen,
it's just not that you can't and you're not capable of doing it. I just never heard it.
It was probably before the Cornette days.
The Cornette days?
Yeah, Cornette was booking in Ring of Honor.
Jesus Christ. I mean, how old do you think this fucking guy is?
Gino's...
Is he pushing 40? He's over 40.
He's over 40.
No shit.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell. He's 3'6", so it's it's hard to figure out how tall.
So
the
we
guy
hired the mayor of Munchkin Land.
Yeah, exactly. It's a small. Well, yeah, he's gonna
wrong movie, but it's
thing.
okay. It's
all
all
okay.
right.
They're all small. So shout out to Gino Gotts. And again, it's getting close. 33 days. We got a lot of cool shit coming up within the next couple weeks. I want to say that we got to, I know you can't, but me and Payne are going to try to venture down to Tiki Bar again. Just because, for research purposes. Obviously. Obviously. Yeah, research purposes on a Monday. As if, they're not even busy on Mondays.
82 degrees.
Yeah, I mean, it may happen. Maybe not. I don't know. I got to ask.
Have a Tiki tea
permission.
For me. Have a Tiki tea for me, bro.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know. I mean, Payne can't even show up to the show. You think he's going to show up to Tiki Bar?
No, yeah, he'll show up to that because he gets to have a margarita.
Like a margarita with my, what's it called? What's his brand, flavor he likes?
Dick?
Well, that escalated quickly. Anyway, let's get into some wrestling, shall we? Monday Night Raw kicks off with Io Sky defeating Valkyria. Damage Control beat up Lyra after the match, so Kaden Carter, Katana Chance came out to hang out. Cool.
Cool.
Liv Morgan. She's looking better and better every week. Now that it's getting, seductive, I'm just like...
Oh, boy, those AEW fans. It's sexual assault.
I mean, I'm not even listening to that.
God.
What I am listening to is the sound of her voice. And she's, hitting on Dom again. Anybody see the old swiperoo of the room key by Finn Balor?
Finn.
Now, is it now I'll ask you a question. Is it Finn trying to protect JD, or is it Finn trying to move on in on Liv Morgan?
Why would he be protecting JD?
He's the one that... I'm not JD. I'm sorry. Dom.
No, I think Finn's trying to get in there on his own.
No shit. All right.
Why wouldn't you?
See,
what the hell?
Why not?
He's
Everybody
a heel.
else in the league has.
He's a heel. Why not?
Yeah, no, I know. I don't know. I felt like
Come
maybe
here,
like,
Lynn. Come here, Liv. Come and shine up me shillelagh.
oh boy. All right. Dragon Lee, Rey Mysterio, Braun Strowman defeat the Judgment Day and Carlito. Liv
How
came out,
great-
tried to get involved.
Wait, how great was that when Braun Strowman put his hands up and Zelina Vega had
Yeah,
to jump?
I know, just holding on for dear life like a
Well,
riot.
she was in New York for the
Puerto Rico Day. Yeah. It was
Zelina.
yeah, Zelina is another one. They're doing all right over there.
Yeah.
Recruiting wise, I would say. Recruiting. Talent.
Remember how over she was in Puerto Rico?
Like,
remember how over she was
Bad
with
Bunny,
that?
her. Yeah,
Oh
man.
my
It was
God.
a fucking madhouse. And it was great. Great for the brand. We said so Liv comes out, blah, blah, blah. All right, Sami Zayn defeats Otis. Otis keeps beating up Sammy, where it kind of looked like he was going after
Gable.
Gable, and he sideswiped and ran into him, but then he kind of just mauled him after that.
I can't get behind Sammy with the belt. I couldn't get behind it when he won.
There's other, you know what?
He should not have been the one to beat Gunther. It
Tell
should
you
have
what.
been Gable.
Tell you what, that's multiple champions that are hovering around WWE that aren't creating any buzz. And we'll get into Clash at the Castle, but I raised the question to you: is this Cody run falling flat?
Yeah.
Because there's nothing there for him. There's nobody there. We need Roman Reigns back in the picture.
It's not even
fast.
that. You can't have babyface Cody with the belt. I told you.
I know.
And I said this at the very before he even won the belt. When he wins it, they got to turn him because it's not going to be interesting. There's only so much of the shaking in the hands and the kissing the babies that.
But I'm
the
hearing like
public is gonna
conflicting reports
like.
about that. Like he's getting stale quick, or he might be the biggest babyface of all time.
Because the kids all love him, right? And everybody remembers the chase and finishing the story. And hey, that's great. But the turn's got to happen to keep it interesting.
I don't think it ever happens now. I think he's falling into the Cena mold.
Then they got to get it off him.
Yeah, and maybe it happens this week. I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but if they're really starting to fall out of favor with a babyface champion, maybe you do need to chase the heel.
I don't think WWE is falling out of favor in it because he still sells tickets. It's still Cody Rhodes. I mean, the house shows are always up because he's there. But
Sure.
as far as TV goes, it's just it's falling flat.
There's nobody that promotes house shows more than Cody Rhodes. I feel like I see his story on Instagram
He
with a
promotes everything.
with a whole schedule of shit.
He literally promotes everything. He's the best. Look, he is the quintessential son of Dusty Rhodes. 'Cause
Dusty, baby.
Dusty was the same way.
Yeah, it's true. Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark defeats Fiery and Dawn.
Dude, how you didn't watch NXT over the weekend?
Yeah,
That-
mixed feeling, or I mixed reactions. I want to say about the fight.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah?
It was a million times better than Shayna and Ronda. It actually looked like a fight. You know what I mean? And the right person won.
It's very hard to stage shit like that. You know what I mean? And that
isn't.
That
now.
goes to the blood sport too. You know, like when they're doing the blood sport thing. I was listening to Rampage Jackson on CVV today, and I'm not done with it yet. But like he starts talking about how he's booked for the next blood sport. And he's like, I don't know how to hold back.
No, he doesn't. And
So how do you do it?
You saw that in TNA when Bellator invaded TNA when Rampage was trying to throw a working punch. You know, and a lot of guys weren't good at throwing a working punch. You hear Stone Cold talk about Mark Marrow, who guy was a Golden Gloves boxer. Stone Cold was like, I wish he would have just hit me for real because it probably would have hurt a lot less than his working punches, dude. Because some of these guys, you just don't know how.
You know who throws
to
a
pull
terrible working punch that always connects and always hurts people? Shane McMahon. That motherfucker, he loads up. Did you see him at the Yankee game the other day?
No.
Yeah, he's in the bleachers. Just
Well,
people are going nuts over it.
He lives in New York.
I know he's a Yankee fan, and
He's a Yankee fan, and he's a Henzo Gracie student.
Cool. Hey, it's good to see him on his feet though, because the last time we saw Shane McMahon, he snapped his whole leg in half.
Oh, my God.
Remember that shit? Oh, with Snoop Dogg throwing. Oh, that was impromptu.
Snoop Dogg having
Snoop
to
was like, the
right the ship.
shizzle. It's like, yeah,
He had
no,
to right
do
the
it.
ship.
Yeah,
He'd go out and throw a punch.
Imagine, but it's like, that goes to show you how much of a performer Snoop is, because
Well,
it's
it
like
was the cameraman telling him what to
that
do.
doesn't matter. But the fact that you could register, do it,
yeah.
execute it, boom, done.
Well, you know,
flawlessly.
he had a match in AEW where he had the worst jump off the top rope I've ever seen.
Snoop did,
Yeah, he jumped off the top rope and he
remember
landed on his feet.
kind of like how Edge just did over the top of his cage, broke his whole shit. Sucks, but he'll be back. My guy, Braun Breaker. defeats Dragunov. Ricochet comes out.
That was a great match.
Yeah, it really was. I was looking forward, and in fact, I really thought it was going to be the main event.
Their match in NXT for the belt was unbelievable. They were terrific.
So look, there's twofold here. Braun Breaker's obviously running through the roster.
Yeah, he needs to.
Right. Little Goldberg-esque run
Well, not
here.
really, because he can work.
Fair, very fair. Well, like the most fair you could be about that.
Yeah, he
sentiment.
can work. You're having him run through people now, but you're not. You could have him in a match with somebody who's a seasoned vet, and it's going to come off okay because the guy can go.
Yeah. But twofold now. So Braun Breaker is continuing to run through. If you had to like put your finger on or take an educated guess, like who is going to be the first one, not to beat him, but to put up a fight, because even Dragunov really took him to the limit, but you just knew in the end Braun was going to win. And then you had Braun just beat the shit out of fucking Ricochet again. We'll talk about that in a second. But like, is there anybody out there that like, I saw one meme today and I was like, I swear to Christ.
Yeah, you ready?
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh,
Dun,
Brock?
dun, dun,
See,
dun, dun.
that would make me prematurely just, look like one of the internet marks.
And because Brock.
But I was thinking the complete opposite spectrum. As far as like talent and then no talent, I was thinking Goldberg. I don't know why, but it's like, dude, here comes 77-year-old Goldberg coming out like,
I don't think
and just fucking
nobody
tries
really
to
wants
spear him,
anything
dies.
to do with Goldberg right now.
Sure. I didn't see the second episode. Apparently, it's on YouTube now via somebody else, not even Vice. I have not seen it, but it looks like everybody just shits all over Goldberg in this second episode of Who Killed WCW, which is no fault of his own, really. Like, it's how he's booked.
Here's the part of the fault is you don't have to be a full mark for the business, but you got to kind of be a mark for the business if you're going to be a wrestler.
Sure.
He wasn't a wrestling fan. He did this because his NFL career was over, and he figured this was going to be a great way for him to make money.
Yeah.
They strapped the rocket to him because of how he looked, and he never really learned how to hone his craft.
Yeah, I mean, he knocked fucking Bret Hart silly. But anyway, Ricochet.
Cost you $16 million.
Yeah, Ricochet. So he does the run-in, has new merch. So now I'm like, so let's pump the brakes on the whole Ricochet's leaving thing. And then they go out and he gets lawn darted Rey Mysterio style into the trailer.
That was worse than Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, that looked brutal. And then he gets, flipped and slammed onto a car hood into the, windshield.
And I'm sure it wasn't a rented car. I'm sure WWE actually bought the car before everybody sitting there with the.
That is a rental, 100% a rental.
Well, because that was CM Punk's whole thing with Jungle Jack, was that why are you going to bust the window of the car and then ruin renting cars for the rest of us? So I'm sure WWE purchased the car from the place.
I mean, whatever. Who cares? All I know is Ricochet goes through the windshield, and now it kind of leaves you in a little bit of like, all right, well, maybe he is done. But then, like, you see Samantha Irvin get up
and run
towards him to the back. So there's a story there. Look, can you completely kill it off right then and there? Man, that's why I say no.
And I'm gonna I'm gonna say this right now, and this is the two-parter here because this is devil's advocate.
Sure.
Let's say this was his swan song.
Okay. It's a hell of a way to go.
That's why I don't think it is. But everybody's sitting there saying, "Oh, the WWE fumbled Ricochet." I would like somebody to explain to me how. He was the IC champ, the NXT North American champ. Sometimes there is a ceiling that somebody just can't get through. And that's not saying that there's anything wrong with Ricochet. He's a tremendous, tremendous talent. People were saying that he wasn't really that great on the mic. You have to be able to do both in order to sell tickets.
Right.
Stone Cold Steve Austin's not going to tell you that he was the greatest athlete in the world. The guy could talk, which is why he gained the steam that he gained.
Right.
Ricochet is a great talent. He's a great mid-card talent. There's nothing wrong with that. And here's the thing. If he goes over to AEW and they pay him more money, he's going to have that match against Ospreay or maybe even Penta if they re-sign Penta. Maybe Danielson. But when he's done with those marquee matchups to you people, what's Tony going to do with him? Because he's not going to put a championship belt on him. He's going to be another mid-card guy there, too. Now, is he going to be a mid-card guy getting paid more money? Maybe. Or does he stay in WWE?
I think what he has to realize is while the money might be greener, the grass isn't always greener. Right? So it's like, and again, I'm not in the business to mock out AEW on the regular, right? I just know that it seems like there's buyer's remorse, or at least talent remorse, when they go down there and they think that this is going to be some big revolution of their career, and then it just, and I look at guys, and this is no bullshit, and I know there's a lot of hardcore fans of these people, but I'm going to list a couple that just don't do it for me in AEW at all. Danielson, Moxley, Copeland. Christian, I want to say he's good over there because they're giving him freedom to do whatever he wants.
He just gives the shock value.
Right. He does that. It didn't work out for Punk, and he smartened up. And, well, however you want to spin that, he's back to WWE. Some of these guys are unbelievable talents. They're just not picking up what they would have picked up at WWE. Well, can you imagine if Moxley was the one to come out at WrestleMania and go and try to fuck up with Roman? Like, the place would have went unglued.
You had Seth come out with the Shield stuff.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. If it wasn't Seth and it was Mox, and you're like, oh my God. Seth Rollins, don't get me wrong, great. But he kind of, to me,
because here's the problem with that. When you're given creative freedom and you're not having somebody say, I don't think that's really going to work out too well, it doesn't work out too well. It doesn't.
Yeah, I mean,
But my question is, what more could WWE have done with Ricochet?
I mean, they gave him the Speed Championship.
Yeah, they're not gonna give him the World Heavyweight title. It's not going to happen.
That's where I kind of disagree a little bit when it comes to Ricochet.
Okay, do you remember
because when he first arrived on the scene,
but do you remember his IC title reign?
No.
So why would you remember his world
because
title reign?
He could be a lot better as he goes.
Now
you can't see Ricochet winning the Royal Rumble one day and pointing to the sign and all that shit. You can't see it.
But what I can see is if, like I said, I don't think this was his swan song because Triple H is not Vince. That's something Vince would have done. Like, this is what you're doing on your way out. But I also don't see Ricochet doing that. His comeback will probably be the biggest thing possible if he comes back.
I'll paint you the picture of what I think his comeback should be. Not vignettes.
No.
Not fucking hype. Not he'll be back in 6 weeks. It needs to be like Matt Hardy-esque when it was like the real life shoot work thing with Edge. Through the crowd, fucking him up. Just trying to fight Braun Breaker for putting... And I think, and Bully Ray said this really well on Busted Open. I don't know what day it was this week. But he would have Braun Breaker come out and just stare a hole through Samantha Irvin just for shits and gigs.
Well, right.
And just to look at her and smirk and smile and have her start getting emotional shit. You want to drag her into this? Fine. By the way, Pat McAfee, much better ring announcer. I will say that. He did one big, handsome bastard from Scotland, right? He did great. But what I will say is...
Stop hating on her.
I'm not hating on her. I just think that if you want to go that route, you can go that route.
Well, absolutely.
You can. You can make her a valet. You can, right? But people are just drooling over her ring announcing ability, which I don't. I think she's good.
She has fun with it, and the wrestlers like it because they're having fun with her having fun with it. So you know what?
I think that's the name of the game now with Triple H in charge is that people are having fun.
Yeah.
If Pat McAfee got up on the fucking commentator's table with Vince in charge, Vince would shut down production and say, turn the cameras off. Get it off that asshole.
He called him a handsome bastard. You can't do that.
Yeah, it's now McIntyre is saying, I will not come out unless addressed as handsome, handsome bastard going forward.
They're all capitalizing on it.
They are.
But you could Ricochet.
But back to Ricochet,
he'll come back, and it would be absolutely huge. Everybody's like, this is the way they're writing him off. Jim Cornette has said it the best. How could I miss you if you don't go away?
Tried to do it in the Jim Cornette voice.
How could I miss you if you don't go away? He's got to go away for a little bit. When he comes back, he'll be the most over wrestler on the roster.
Not to mention, he's probably one of the most gifted athletes on the roster. So it's like, if you put him... Now, this could completely turn on its ear. Maybe a mouthpiece. Maybe a mouthpiece. I would say Heyman, but it's not because he's got the bloodline thing. But
it's tough, though, because he's small.
I know you say small. I say so was Shawn Michaels when he started, and he had Sensational Sherry and Diesel. So these things do happen sometimes, And I don't see him coming back as the heel, so maybe not. But it's like,
But there's nothing wrong with being a really good mid-carder.
I know.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I understand that.
Maybe give him another IC title run.
Even the mid-carder / tag team enthusiasts could become world heavyweight champions, i.e. Booker T. One of the greatest tag team wrestlers of all time with Stevie Ray, his brother. And they branched him off, and the way he won it that night was weird.
But he was also...
But he's a 5-time.
He was also like 6'5", 300 pounds.
Yeah, I mean, he's not 300 pounds. But like...
Back then?
Yeah, maybe a little bigger. I don't know, man. I just think that Ricochet has the ability to be a main eventer. I really do. And I think that if he goes to AEW, he loses that ability to be a main eventer, if that makes any sense.
He'll get main event. Look. Let's just say he goes there. He can have a match against Ospreay in front of all. Like, that's what the people want. And it's cool, but it was a no-sell fest.
Yeah.
If you actually watch it back, it's great. It looks...
I hate that shit, to be honest with you.
It's just a no-sell fest. It's just a no-sell fest.
That stuff sucks.
I think they do that enough over there. They don't need it anymore.
Right. The Miz and R-Truth defeat Authors of Pain.
I disagreed with that.
You think Authors of Pain should have won the belts?
You got to give them the belts.
You got to do something with them.
You got to give them the
because
belts.
they're losing all sorts of steam.
You got to give them the belts. I love Cross's promos that he does on social media, but you have these two big, gigantic sumbitches. They should have been able to win the belts off R-Truth and The Miz. Maybe that's something that gets revisited down the line. I don't know if they're defending. I don't know if they're defending the belts at Clash of the Castle.
They are not.
You know, maybe for SummerSlam. But the Authors of Pain should have those tag team belts. You got to make those guys feel special because this is, I think, Karrion Kross's last shot.
Yeah, it's like you want to talk about missed opportunities. WWE has, I don't want to say drop the ball because he's not gone, but like there's limited time left to get people behind Kross. Kross is a unbelievable athlete. He can talk. He's got Scarlett. He's got all these intangibles to be a top guy in that company.
He's a really good jiu-jitsu guy, too.
Right, and he does a phenomenal Jesse the Body Ventura.
You ever see the videos of him snapping baseball bats?
No, but
he like wraps the baseball bat like he's holding like a heel hook, and then he just snaps the bat.
See, that's what I'm saying, man. That's a killer. That's a killer, and he's on your roster.
Killer Kross.
And he's being I don't want to say suppressed because now I sound like Ryback crying about Twitter, but like he's being.
Are you unblocked?
I am. I saw some of the best memes in the world after that. After he thinks in his sick, twisted mind, he thinks by unblocking people that he'll get more traction to his post.
Well, yeah, because
everybody's asking to be blocked again. Everybody.
God help me, I just love reading it.
Oh, dude,
I love reading it.
Like, could we?
I will never comment on another one again because I don't feel like being blocked because I need the laugh when I'm on Twitter.
Trust me, there's ways around.
Yeah, I don't feel like doing the whole search engine thing. I mean, I like looking at it right in my face to laugh and then just keep it moving.
I mean, there's so many people that are like, "Hey, man, thanks so much for unblocking me. Hey, do me a favor, can you block me again?" It's like that is top notch. That's better content than anything that dude's put out.
The one person that I'm glad that blocked me, and I'm glad, and I hope he never unblocks me, is Meltzer.
Yeah, the more I watch some of these things with him, the more I'm just like, you're such a dork. You know, is that the right word I should use right now?
I should
You're
never be proud as a 40-year-old man of being blocked by someone, but that made me proud.
I'm blocked by 3 people on Twitter that I know of. Cole Beasley, former wide receiver of the Cowboys. I said some stupid joke about Madden, how it's realistic because he fumbled on the one and I lost. And it was like, he was like, yeah, dog, nah, fuck you. And I'm like, okay, bye. Des Bryant blocked me.
Really?
Yeah. He went off on a tangent about how, you know, he was talking bad about the players about the organization, about how they, you know, screw over the Cowboys at the end of their contracts so nobody else will touch them, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, there go your season tickets.
So the one person who actually thinks Dez caught it, you blocked.
Blocked by Dez. On Twitter. I mean, Instagram, he doesn't know who the hell I am. And CM Punk. So CM Punk will never do it. I do follow him on Instagram. I think he's a phenomenal follow. I think he's a very interesting person. I sent one congratulatory tweet to Mickey Gall and Block City, bitch. And I was like, okay.
Speaking of the Cowboys, I've been having a lot of fun with the writer.
Patrick Walker is aces, bro. That guy
him and I had some fun that night.
He wants to come on board. I would love to have Patrick Walker on the show. He's an unbelievable, just knowledge and just wrestling fan, fanatic. Now he covers them.
I would have to unbury my my Lawrence Taylor jersey.
Oh, you better fucking don't. All right, so let's get into some predictions real quick. Clash at the Castle. Right here, I see 5 listed matches.
All the Scottish people lose.
Bastards. Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill versus Fry and Dawn versus Baszler and Zoe. Triple threat tag team championship match. There's no way they're taking off the dynamic duo, you think?
I think they might give it to the
Baszler?
No.
The rookies? No way.
Alba Flyer, they were hot as hot
I know.
NXT. They got to start doing the discourse between Jade and Bianca.
Already?
They got to start it.
Already?
Mm-hmm. Because they're gonna get stale.
No way. Not yet. I mean,
they're gonna. Who's left for them? They've already started running through everybody possible.
Fucking love them.
What are they going to have? One last blow off against Piper and Chelsea Green.
Chelsea Green.
They're gonna do that. And then there's gonna be nothing left for them.
Yeah. So I got Bianca and Jade taking that. If you want to take the new girls, go for it. Sami Zayn, Chad Gable.
Gable.
This has to be it.
Gable
has to be it. For my guy Gable as a heel, but does the payoff? There's got to be something with Otis, and I'm trying to figure out how they do it.
So here's what I think. I think that Gable's going to try to get Otis to do something with Sammy. Otis isn't going to want to do it. I think the Creed brothers are going to come out and help Gable.
Aha! The plot thickens. The turntables. I like that, and I would love Gable to finally win this thing. I understand. So now it's April, May, June. So 2-month run, almost a 3-month run for Sami Zayn. I think it warrants. And then if you want to do a rematch at SummerSlam, go for it. But like this is it.
Gable needs a single title.
This is nuclear hot heat that you will get for Chad Gable if he wins the damn championship.
With him winning that belt, this is how you're going to see if he's going to be able to ever be in the running for the World Heavyweight title.
Sure. It's a good test. Bayley versus Piper Niven for the Women's Championship.
I think Piper's going to win.
I didn't even know this was on the thing.
I think Piper's
I didn't even know they were
win.
feuding.
I really think Piper's going to win. She's completely turned a corner.
Yeah? Jesus Christ.
You know what it is? I guess it's Dewdrop. Everybody knew her as Piper Niven. I know she was big across the pond before she had gone over to, onto the main roster, and then they made her Dewdrop, and they made her kind of a joke. Like when we went to Raw.
Vince.
When we went to Raw that night when Ronda Rousey wasn't even booked, and then she came out there to
just beat the shit out of her.
Dewdrop. Her and Chelsea Green have actually been an amazing tag team together. When what's her name got hurt. Chelsea's other tag team partner.
I know what you're talking about.
And no disrespect,
drawing a blank. I'm also drawing a blank.
So I think Piper's really turned a corner, and her winning with Chelsea intervening.
I like it
for a great SummerSlam.
I like
Bayley
it. I just don't see
Piper.
it. I like it. I just don't see it. The swerve that I want to throw is this undisputed WWE Championship match between Cody Rhodes, AJ Styles, and officially his I Quit match. Man, if what everybody's
do they go the old school Rock one where they have the recording of I quit?
Yeah, remember that shit? I can't imagine anything would make Cody quit except if you get his family involved again. Meaning the Good Brothers possibly involved, maybe backstage, get a hold of Brandy. Or get a hold something that you don't just completely out of left field where it's like, we're gonna do this, you better quit. Something to that effect where it's like almost like a hostage situation. Because pound for pound, I Quit matches are tough, right? Because it's one thing to tap out, and it's because it's hurting.
But does AJ have like a submission move?
The calf crusher.
Okay.
Sort of. I mean, I don't know the last time he used it.
When they had what was it? They had Stone Cold in a submission match. He's like, why am I in a submission match? I do no.
Is that against Bret Hart?
I think so.
Or was that another I Quit match? I don't even know, but
I think it was a submission match.
Yeah. So, but I again,
Does Cody have anything like that?
I have no idea. Maybe the fucking figure four, pay homage. I don't know. But once again, I can't. The loser of this, it crushes him a little bit. To say I quit is a big deal.
I think that the internet would go crazy for AJ winning because, you know, everybody thought he was Jacksonville bound. And listen, I like Cody a lot. I wouldn't mind if AJ won and then Cody won it back at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I guess. I just, again,
because they had a great match.
Again,
when they
whoever
wrestled the
says
last time.
I quit, and I know it's wrestling and it's all whatever, but it's like
Still quitting.
this. Yeah, it does put a little bit of a damper on your character, man. And if this is going to be now Cody's second time beating AJ Styles in a matter of what, 3 months, and then they do it in France, it's like, okay, like. Now remember, he faked the fucking retirement. He did all that shit, and all of a sudden, I don't know, man. It would not surprise me at all.
They have the fucking Money in the Bank coming up in.
Yeah, I mean, everybody
July.
thinks that Jey Uso is going to win that thing without even like a shadow of a doubt. But again, don't know. We'll see.
I wouldn't be mad if
I would not
AJ
be mad
won.
either, to be honest with you. Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Punk's costing Drew McIntyre.
Oh, I mean, it's the writing's on the wall,
Yeah.
dude. It's like
Dude, Punk is looking beefy.
Oh, he has to, because I mean, like, what else is he doing besides fucking lifting? Like, what else is he possibly doing right now?
Well, you missed it on NXT when what's her name? I don't even want to say it because Payne's not here. I don't want to take his joke. They're champion, the NXT champion.
Okay.
When he was like, you know, you got lucky tonight. She looks at him, she goes, wow, thanks, hypocrite.
That's
like,
really funny.
Whoa, right on camera.
So, yeah, you would assume this all comes to a head. Something caused something. Damian Priest walks out of there, champion to the. I mean, look, that crowd is going to be very
Here's
pro
the funny
McIntyre.
Thing. Here's the funny thing. Priest championship seems to be more special than Cody's.
It does,
and that's a shame because
and
of the whole
and
story
right
that
before
went into that.
WrestleMania, we were talking about it being 1,000% secondary belt.
Mm-hmm.
Now all of a sudden, you're like, I kind of like this belt more than I like the other championship reign. That's organically happened that way.
That sucks because of who Cody is and what he did. And,
Yeah, well,
you know.
that's what happens when you force feed shit. And I said it from jump. I think it would have been phenomenal if they had Roman go over again, and people are just like, dude, like, what is, and then nuclear bomb heat on Roman Reigns. But now you got people saying, we want Roman. Roman's going to come back. He's going to do some shit with the bloodline and all this other shit that's happening. He's looking like a fucking ox, too. I don't know if anybody's seen his workout videos.
I wish we could have got some of their family members to come to our event.
Well, they're all signed. So it's like, fuck it. Like, they've picked them all. Every single, there's like a kid that's probably 7 right now where I'm like, hey, man, you want to go on the beach? Like, sorry, I'm signed to WWE already. It's like, oh, all right, another missed opportunity. So, look, it is what it is. It sucks for us.
Yeah, we dropped the ball there.
Dropped the ball there. All right, AEW.
That's all, folks.
That's it, folks. That'll do it. No. The Elite challenged AEW to Blood and Guts. Blood and Guts is back again. I feel like they just had Blood and Guts, or they just had something.
No, that was the
Anarchy in the Arena.
Yeah, Anarchy in the Arena.
I thought it was the
Stadium
same
Stampede. I don't know.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I
it
think it
doesn't
was
matter.
Anarchy in the Arena.
Swerve was offered to join them. He says no. He made a gun reference. That was really well. It's like, I'll pull the trigger. It's like, you want to do that? The claim came out to help Swerve when the Elite tried to go after him, blah, blah, blah. Jack Perry defeats Dustin Rhodes. I was excited about this one because I feel like Dustin would have slapped him around and, made him say uncle. But apparently this is also a TNT Championship ladder match qualifier.
Oh.
That was announced out of nowhere.
So wait,
So Jack Perry wins the match, obviously.
You mean the friend of the Elite is going to end up winning a belt?
Get the fuck out of here. Stop
Wow.
it. Stop it. Roosh defeats Dion Roosman, making his All Elite Wrestling debut. Congratulations to the Iceberg, who is
I always liked watching him wrestle at
Wrestle Pro champ. He looks the part, athlete.
Super good dude.
Can't stay off the injury list, which I believe is finally, turning a corner with that. But it's just great to see him on TV. So shout out to KM and Buck for vouching for him to get on TV.
Yeah.
But then MJF comes down to the rescue. Him and Roosh follow all over the arena. Roderick Strong takes Sheeta, and Fletcher defeats Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, and Mark Briscoe. Awesome. Samoa Joe and Hook defeats Daivari and Tony Nese. Okay. I'm not knocking it. I just, again, to me, I just...
Okay.
You know what it is? You know what it is? And this is not a knock. And again, I don't have to agree with all the booking decisions and shit. I always support the fellas down there and the ladies. But what I will say is, when I see, like, if I pulled last week's rundown, you know, it's just another one of these. Like a smorgasbord of just, let's see, you know. And sometimes they turn out to be fucking phenomenal matches, which is great for the brand, for the ratings, for everything that you're trying to do. Just make things mean something a little bit more.
Well,
That's all.
I can tell you one thing. They're all turning on Jericho. They are sick of Jericho.
Speaking of Jericho, after Mercedes Moné defeats Zexus, I don't know, a woman for the TBS Championship. So Moné gets
CMLL wrestler.
Moné gets the dub. But TV Tom and Chris Jericho ended with Private Party beating up Jericho, Cass, and Brian Keith. I don't know, man. Jericho's gotta go. Yeah, I love, and that's the thing, man.
Work
Coming from a
backstage.
guy who was just the biggest Jerichoholic when he first busted onto the scene at WWE. I wasn't even a Jericho guy at WCW because I barely watched, but like when he got there, I was like, this is the coolest. And that obviously, yes,
I loved him in WCW.
I know with the whole list armbar. I remember,
even just that, just his character there was outstanding.
Yeah, throwing the bitch fits and shit. Yeah,
and
I
his
remember
couple
Ralphus.
matches. His couple matches in ECW were amazing.
Yeah, the Lionheart, all that shit was great. And even on AEW, being one of the pillars to launch the company, it was great. It's just completely overstayed the welcome. And I just think that, all right, you're on gimmick number 7 in 5 years. You know what I mean? Like, you're literally just throwing a bunch of shit at the wall. And this one is getting you some serious heat, but in a bad way now. Now it's like, all right, now you're taking up the time.
Yeah, it's not white heat.
Of the other fellas.
It's not white
now
heat.
You're on camera for way too long, and it's like,
but he knows it,
and he's not even elevating Big Bill or Brian Keith.
Yeah, but he knows it. That's the funny thing. He knows it, and he knows people hate it, so that's why he's doing it more. That's why you're getting the vignettes and things
Hi,
like that.
everybody.
Yeah.
It's like, what are we doing, bro? You're not reinventing the wheel. You're not Bray Wyatt. You're not these guys that think that you can get over by being a weirdo. You're just right now, you're just the old guy in the locker room that people are just like rolling their eyes when they see it on the rundown. Like, oh, Jericho's got a 17-minute segment. Yeah. That's cool. You know, like, why? No. I understand I just said, like, all these matches are kind of thrown together. Give, the Savage fucking guys, give those guys another shot. Give the Acclaim the match. Give somebody else a match.
Yeah.
Instead of that shit. Because it's just not, for me, again, I'm just one guy.
They haven't been on Dynamite or
I know,
Rampage,
that's what I'm saying. Like, give Lady Frost a run. Give.
She did just go against Tony Storm.
I know.
Which was a really good match.
And I have to say this, and I texted her this because it was awesome. The promo she cut in the back.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Like, this girl, A, is probably your most athletic person on your roster right now.
Easily.
B, now she's peeling back the curtain a little bit and saying, like, hey, I'm a human being. I'm not just like this gymnast who doesn't know, anything. Like, I know shit. I've been through it. Give this girl the run that she deserves. Because I think that, and I'm not knocking Ring of Honor, but the eyeballs are not on Ring of Honor right now. The eyeballs are, if you're going to watch that brand, you're going to watch Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
Put her on Wednesday nights. Put her in there with Mercedes. Put her in there with the best of the best that you got. Do that. Put her against Tony Storm on Dynamite. Give Lady Frost her due, because I'm telling you right now,
we're giving her the best of the best.
We are giving her the best of the best. Not only that, but watch yourselves, AEW. You better watch yourselves, because you never know when her contract's up, somebody comes sweeping in and say, you know what? That girl's got it. And she does have it.
She's phenomenal.
And, her husband's a jerk, but that's really it.
You know what? I might have to do a run-in during his match if he's winning.
He'll kick the shit out of you.
That's fine, but at least it'll be enough of a distraction. Somebody could do a little schoolboy.
And I'm so tired. You know what really pisses me off and grinds my gears, Mr. Savage Gentleman? It grinds my gears when you can run around and say, I love Butterfinger, and all talk about all these snacks that you eat, and then look the way you do. It's bullshit, and it's not fair.
He gets mad at me when I say Butterfinger is nothing but stale peanut butter and chocolate.
See, he'll get upset. And he got a custom belt made and shit. But it's like, shut up, man. I eat a Butterfinger. I have to do fucking 8 years of cardio to burn that off. This guy looks like a fucking Greek statue.
Adults like myself have Reese's Fast Break.
Whatever. Daniel Garcia defeats Nick Camarado.
Who?
Nick Camarado. I hit that motherfucker with a chair once.
That guy.
Yeah.
The big hairy dude.
Yeah.
He was at the.
That guy.
No, he was. I know exactly where you're going with it, and I almost did it. He was wrestling that night in Union when I had to stand by the bathroom because it was the only place that didn't smell like shit.
No, it was.
Fucking people.
You know, it's so funny. I made a comment yesterday. I popped myself for this, and I usually don't do this, but like Chad Menace is a menace on fucking social media. That dude is a menace, and he knows it, and he loves it.
You know what, though? He stuck up for us big time.
Oh, he's been sticking up for us. And
I love it.
And look, the Chad, again, you know, me and Chad go way back. We've had our differences, but he's also booked me to MC one of his bigger events. That's where I met DJ Vito G. And, you know, great in that regard. What you did in your past and what I've done in my past, I'm done with it. Doesn't matter.
I judge people how they treat me, man. I don't care what the hell you did.
So right now, if he's a good dude to me, he's a good dude to everybody. And while we may not be using your ring, Chad, and I apologize for that, but you know we do have obviously you know my relationship with Kevin and those guys, and they have
doesn't
a business.
mean we won't use it in the future,
right? They have a business too, and I tip my cap to Kevin and shit. But like I will say that Chad said something where he was kind of saying what I said before, like how indie wrestlers should, you know, promote and do promos and all this other shit. And one guy was like, well, there's 70 companies in New Jersey alone. And I was like, yeah, well, you know, 3 of them are probably good. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's a lot of like alphabet soup. Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah, but you know what? You still gotta create the eyeballs. So it's okay if it's not good right now. You're creating the eyeballs there to kind of get people to go.
I've always said this. And I still doubled down, tripled down, quadrupled down on it. The way you eliminate shitty independent wrestling is stop going to their shows. They cannot sustain it. So I thought, right? Then certain companies have deep pockets, right? Because if somebody does well,
it's not even that.
Listen,
dude.
if somebody does well, and their hobby, some people play video games, some people go jogging, some people run independent wrestling promotions. And that's where I feel like the reason why some of these companies still exist is because they have the deep pockets. And my comment was, instead of taking care of their health and hygiene, they would rather fucking run a wrestling promotion. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, no, and you know what you're saying about that is, you know, like these places, like, you know, our highest ticket is $30, and you know, then the other tickets are $10. Yeah, you might gain people coming there, and for me, those shows are definitely like more geared towards kids, right? Because I've gone to one of that,
but
that promotion shows before.
A shitty show.
It is, but they'll usually
everybody's got T-shirts on. Everybody's got cut-off jeans.
They'll usually have those 1 or 2 names that draw those people in there. Like when I went to that show and I met Sandman, you know what I mean? And he did a little run-in. It was cool for me to meet Sandman because I've been watching him since I'm a kid.
I've met Sandman 50 fucking times already, so it's like for me, it's
you know. And I think Jaden Cheeseburger was on that show, and Nikki Duke was on that show.
Cares. What I will say is, well, that's another fucking story for another day. But what I will say is this: if you stop support independent wrestling. No. Support good independent wrestling. And I'm not even saying that Fight Factory Wrestling is going to be good. We could stink. We could completely shit the bed on all, even though the talent was announced and it's amazing. What if like every single match just something goes wrong, right? It can happen.
Thank you. As if the anxiety was starting to go away with that. Now you just increased it again.
It can happen.
I think I got to go have another session with my doctor.
It can happen, but you know, it won't happen. But what I will say is like, stop supporting the dog shit because you're basically pouring water on dog shit and hoping that it turns into more dog shit because that's what it's doing. And I feel bad for those that are like, just imagine the Sandman and Tom Brandy and guys like that ISPW uses a lot. These guys are on these independent shows on the poster and it's like, oh, cool, we can go meet them. How do they feel when they walk into a locker room full of fucking guys that look like trash?
You know what they think of?
Their money.
I'm getting at least $50 for this photo and an autograph.
Yeah, I guess, but it's
Because
just, I feel bad.
dude, like
I don't know.
Sandman did his he did his signing, then he had one run in to do, and then that was it.
Yeah.
Then he got in his car,
And you know
and
who
then
he
drove
probably
away.
hit with a kendo stick? Joe Smith, otherwise known as the Bruiser Buddy
No, it was
Daddy.
Jeff, it was Jeff
something.
Cannonball.
Well, fine. All right, you ruined the analogy. What I will say is 9 times out of 10, it's hitting the promoter or it's hitting the fucking the student that paid their dues that can record a TikTok later with a fucking welt on their head and be like, Sandman gave me this. Like, it ruins fucking wrestling. Stop doing it. Just stop. And I say all that as we're talking about AEW, but that's good wrestling. They have good wrestling there.
Yeah.
Will Ospreay, speaking of good wrestling, one of the best in the world. Will Ospreay defeats Ray Phoenix for the International Championship. I didn't see the match. I'm not going to pretend I did.
Do.
Yeah, of course it is, because that's what they're good at, and that's what they excel at. And I'll never take that away, because I remember, I don't know who I just remember, like, the first time I ever went to the top rope during a match, I'm just like, I'm never doing this again. You know what I mean? Like, this is ridiculous.
Well, could you believe somebody actually had the balls to try and like argue with Ricky Morton on Twitter?
Why is Ricky Morton on Twitter?
He gave the rub to Ospreay for a sell that he did on a clothesline where he flipped.
Sure.
He was like, hey, great sell. And somebody's like, well, back in the 80s, that would have killed a guy. Completely went the wrong fucking direction, because every wrestler and their mother was retweeting it going, imagine telling Ricky Morton.
I drove
about
Ricky
pro
Morton
wrestling.
to the airport. One of my favorite times as an up and coming student.
And like, listen,
Ricky Morton and the Rock and Roll Express. Why can't Bob Gibson?
Ricky and
sorry.
Robert.
Yeah, Robert Gibson. Was it Robert? Yeah, I know. He calls him Robert. They were in my back seat, and then Ricky Morton ripped a fart that I'll never forget in my life. And then he's like, now you can tell everybody that Ricky Morton dropped a bomb in your back seat. And I was like, okay.
Can you believe that New Jack and Mustafa wrestled
New Jack.
the Rock and Roll Express?
No, I can't.
They wrestled the Rock and Roll
Rock and Roll Express
in,
is still
in
going.
Smoky Mountain Wrestling.
Of course they did. New Jack is a God rest his soul. Whatever.
You know, it's funny. I thought
He's
of you
still
guys.
haunting us
I
to this
thought
day.
of you guys the other day because I was in Monroe and I passed that castle, and I thought of you guys.
Yeah, great times. Great times.
But and listen, I'm not saying I disagreed with the guy. Like, yeah, okay, you're right. In the '80s, that clothesline, that like not even in the '80s, even the '90s,
I mean,
like the
what do you mean?
JBL.
What do you mean?
The
Would've killed
JBL
him?
lariat.
Just because he did a flip and
Because you did a flip, then he landed
Listen.
so, like a lariat. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that was
sure.
JBL's finisher. Okay. It's not today's wrestling. I still wouldn't be the one to argue with a guy who's made
you're
his
never
entire
in a
living.
million fucking years going to win an argument against the Hall of Famer.
No.
You just won't. You just won't. And it's just like, stop trying, because it's just not
Nope.
going to work out good for you.
I wouldn't be doubling
the internet,
down on that.
the IWC will come after your neck.
I wouldn't, especially with that company. Yeah, I wouldn't double down. I'd be like, if he said it, I just would have been like, yeah, I'm just gonna back on.
Mike Birbiglia, comedian, does this thing where he says one thing where he's like, what I should have said was nothing, right? And that's what some people should just, less is more. Don't critique guys that are in there doing it for a living right now. Just don't. You know, like there's
Especially if a Hall of Famer is giving them.
well,
a
not
rub.
even that. It's just like conversations with other people within the organization, within people at AEW. I don't know, like this show in particular, and I don't remember how many episodes. I said it last
78.
week. This is 78. This show is 78 episodes deep. In the past, Wrestling Rob and this guy have completely obliterated AEW. Completely obliterated it. Why? Because they're not in the business and they can as fans. Now, Tommy's somewhat half fucking foot in the business. So, cool. You might want to refrain from that too. Now, going
Did
forward.
you not notice how much I've stopped?
Yeah, well, I'm just saying. But what I will say is this. If you're in professional wrestling, and I've said this from Jump Street, when I was coming up, not having, look, the aspirations and the dreams of WWE waved bye-bye to me very, very quickly into my run, because I was just like, okay, I love doing this shit, but I'm not
My
awesome
problem
at
isn't
it.
with AEW as a whole; it's their fans.
Well, you're
That's
right.
my.
Those
That's
people
my
are
problem.
little. Those people are little.
That's
bonkers.
my problem.
Yeah.
You can't blame. Well, I mean, you can blame the booking because it's the elite that's doing the booking. You can blame that, but these guys are going out there and they're just earning their paycheck, man.
Right, and
They're
you know what?
They're doing what they're told to do.
Once upon a time, if you're in this business, no matter what your role, whether it be production, referee, manager, worker, whatever, if your goal isn't to be paid to do this for a living, or it is, if that's your goal, I would refrain from talking shit, like hard shit. Again, if I say, like, I don't agree with the Chris Jericho segment being 1,000,000 years long, that's only because I'm saying, like, I, as a consumer,
as a viewer,
don't want to really watch it. But, like, I also won't say, Chris Jericho sucks. He's always sucked. He's intolerable.
No, never.
His character right now is annoying as shit. And guess what? That's the fucking point, guys. So it's like, he's done his job. I hate seeing Chris Jericho on TV right now. He's doing his job.
No.
But to openly bash and just be ignorant to like the people you work with and work for, you're blatantly taking a jab at somebody that gave you an opportunity once upon a time without even with no remorse whatsoever. Like, that's not going to do you any favors. I'm sorry.
No, and I'm learning.
You're learning little by little. I learned
a
long time ago. Don't say it. And for the times that I have said shit about any wrestling company, it's usually just like in support of, or like I would have did it different. And it's not like I'm the genius and I know what I'm doing. Like, we've booked one show so far. If it's a success, I'll say I'm 1 for 1. Guess what? But guess what? If the next 2 are flops, I'm still a Hall of Famer betting 300. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm just like, everything. I don't know all, but I know a little bit of something about everything.
I can tell you from my personal experience now, and I mean, you know this already because you've been doing this since 2012. But for me, coming in a lot different than everybody else, I'm learning on the fly and
yeah, you're not getting proper training.
And I'm listening to these guys and I'm learning from them.
But you're surrounding yourself with people that have been around for a couple cups of coffee. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, when you can sit around the learning, no pun, the real learning tree of professional wrestling, when you're sitting around guys like Moff and you're sitting around older vets and guys that have been around the block, even fucking as shot off and spin off as Tony Atlas is, it's still cool to be around him.
That's why I said I was like, I couldn't believe it. I'm sitting in the locker room. He's bull farting in the fucking toilet. I got the Barbarian over here, the Warlord over here, and I'm just like, 7-year-old me is going absolutely insane right now. But rather than marking out like a lot of people would, and hey, can I get a picture? I'm listening to what they're saying to each other and how they're calling this spot and how they're
and that's how you learn.
And here's
man.
the funny thing: like a lot of these guys, they don't know that I'm not trained, so they're asking like my opinion on things.
And you know what? When the situation calls for it, you give it. Right? I mean, like, we're allowed to still be fans at heart of certain things. I was on a fucking Zoom call with Freddie Prinze Jr. yesterday. If you didn't think I was going fucking nuts deep down inside, like, we're technically, by the letter of the law, we're business partners.
Yeah, but does he still love her?
He loves her, right? But like, and we even brought that up. We're like, you know, are you a big sports guy? I know that, you know, you were in Summer Catch, right? Yeah. But that's really it. And he's like, not really. He doesn't even like sports, you know? But like, he does to a certain extent. He dabbles. But like,
he's a wrestling guy.
The other day, I mean, he's saying something like, he's like, yeah, you know, and then Sarah, and I'm just like, oh, he's talking about Buffy. You know, like, but like in my mind, I'm like, how do I sneak a picture? I'm on my phone. This doesn't make any sense. I can't do it. But at the same time, I'm learning. I'm listening. I'm just like, I fucking, hey, nice to meet you. Great to meet you.
God,
you know,
I wish he decided to come to the War on the Shore. That would have been
nice.
Yeah,
that would have been great. But yeah, I mean, look, there's just ways to go about handling your business.
We won't charge you for a ticket.
I know. I would
you own the
straight
network.
up comped. You know, Kevin told me that the other day. He's like, maybe I'll come check out the show. And I'm like, do I charge Kevin Matthews?
He doesn't listen, he doesn't charge me.
He doesn't and we're using his ring. I can't charge Kevin. I can't.
No.
But anyway, to double down on that, if you are interested in covering the show, please hit me up. We'll talk. We'll see if you meet the credential needs. I'm not going to have everybody under the sun hit me up, and which is already started, to be honest. As soon as I put out the lanyard post, I got fucking DMs out the ass. Like, do you need somebody, the photographer? I'm like, I got 18 photographers right now. I got to narrow down to
really should.
I got to narrow down to like 3.
But wait, we really should do the Japan thing where they're just
Fujifilm, just all around the ring, like Hogan's matches, just flash bulbs everywhere. But yeah, so anyway, putting a bow on this entire thing. Tickets on sale right now for the War on the Shore. They are
going.
Today alone was a nice day, right? Online picked up. Payne sold some tickets himself. You sold some tickets yesterday.
Listen, I'm a street salesman. I always have been.
He's basically holding people at gunpoint at this point.
Hey, listen,
you got to do what you got to do. But look,
you like that text though, right?
I do. I think that it's moving in the right direction. Pre-sale is way more than I thought it was going to be. Honestly, I had lower expectations for pre-sale.
Oh, yeah.
It's bumping right now. Listen, I know the area that our ring is going to be set up, and I know how we're setting it up. It's going to be jam-packed, and I think that you need to get your tickets right now. If you're on the Jersey Shore that day, July the 16th, it's a Tuesday night. I know, obscure, but guess what? Hundreds and hundreds have already bought tickets knowing it's a Tuesday night. So please, get those tickets now. I want to thank all the sponsors for being involved. It's because of you guys that we're able to do this without sweating our balls off. Not literally.
And this is what, like I was saying to you in chat. First-time promoter, they don't jam it the way that we did. I mean, you talk about seriously betting on yourself with what Mike Chioda, Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke, Cardona, Steph DeLander, Mike Santana,
Joey Janela,
like
Moff,
Oliver,
Navarro, Oliver, right?
Like you see these guys, like they'll have one or two
Ben
names
Bishop.
on there. Yeah. Yeah. They'll have one or two names on there to get people through the door. And that's in a fucking high school gymnasium or a VFW.
And no offense, because we probably will run a high school gymnasium at some point. But
for our first show, the stops that we're pulling out for this, and it's just
and
we should have just bought a fucking ring at this point.
I think we should have, and I think we will. I think we'll cross that bridge. Me and Payne already have like this big business
Payne's
plan.
house is big enough to fucking store it.
I mean, he already built the damn commentary table, which he claims he's bringing home with him at the end
How
of the
would
show.
you not? Where are you going to put it? You can only use it once a year when we have these shows.
He's going to put it in his backyard in Payne's Oasis estate.
Yeah, well, it better not get fucking weather beaten, Payne.
So anyway, there is a lot of cool buzz happening right now. Please follow us, Fight Factory Wrestling on Instagram, on Twitter at Fight Factory CS, and of course, I think there's a TikTok. Shay does all that TikTok shit. But yeah, and also obviously keep in mind that if you have iOS right now, download the MyFandom app. It's a very, very unique app. We've added sports to it now. Now you can kind of relive a lot of memories that you forgot about. You can log the games that you watched it. You can log the games that you were there. It's a lot of cool shit. So go check out the app. It's free. There's no charge. There's no secret charges. I'll tell you right now. How do I make money, Dave? Well, Dave makes money if you just stay on the app a little longer than normal, because the ads are pumping. Thank you, Google. But yeah, so go check out all that shit. Once again, thank you to the sponsors. Thank you for everybody for watching. For Dave Sturchio, Tommy Dee over there, and Chris Payne at his son's graduation right now.
The grind.
Wow,
That's
see, I
all
was
he's
trying to
doing.
be nice and say
Running
congratulations.
from the grind.
And look, congratulations to Payne, Little Payne, Chase Payne. And I don't have many shows that I can do this on anymore. Jimmy Palumbo, obviously, I do his show on Tuesdays. But I want to give a special shout out to my mother-in-law, who is an absolute fucking rock star, who has defeated breast cancer for not once, not twice, but a third time. A shout out to Gigi. So thank you, doctors and everybody who helped her out. Special shout out to her. And yeah, God bless. Stay good to your people. Tell somebody something nice. All that shit. I'm rambling at this point. We'll see you guys later. Paper toss and the mic throw up. Same time. Simultaneous. Ready? And...